Today you're going to meet a filmmaker who's used an innovative way to get a project off the ground. Hello, I'm Shannon Skinner, and this is Extraordinary Women TV. My guest today is Kelli Kieley. She's a filmmaker and an entrepreneur. Her most recent film is entitled Between the Lines. Really glad that she's here today. Now, later in the segment, before we take a break, I'll have my regular Good to Know Minute when I ask my guests for their top success tip. And you'll hear Kelly's. Well, hello, Kelli. Welcome to the show.
Hi. How are you today?
Oh, great, thank you. On this really warm August day, summer's winding down. Sad, actually.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's beautiful outside, but yes, I can see the leaves changing, and I was surprised by that this morning. We were just talking about that.
Yeah. Now, you're a filmmaker. Actually, you wear a few different hats. You've produced, you've directed, you're a writer, you're an entrepreneur. Let's sort of trace your career from day one. You grew up in Newfoundland.
Yeah. Yeah, my career has taken it was a non-traditional kind of following my heart journey. There were no opportunities for studying film in Newfoundland, and that's where I was doing my university degree. And I was doing my honors there, and I was taking a film studies class, and my film advisor told me I was too kooky. I was doing well in school, but he said, "Oh, you're too kooky for academics. You need something creative. You should do film." And I was shocked by his suggestion. I was kind of hurt by it. Kooky, yeah. And he's like, no. And he contacted his friend who was producing the 5th feature film in Newfoundland, and he got me on the film set, and I did my thesis on feature filmmaking in Newfoundland, and I was just so excited by the creative process of filmmaking, and that began my journey. But
traveled the world?
Yeah, I left it not long after that. I'd really gotten into the filmmaking industry, and then suddenly I decided I wanted to travel. I moved to England for a couple of years and traveled to Asia and Egypt, and met my now former husband there before coming back to Canada, and Toronto actually is where I made my home since then.
And you've had a couple children as well along the way?
Yeah, my mom. I have 2 kids, 10, almost 11 in a couple of days, a little boy and a little girl who's soon going to be 8.
So you began your career in film, and what was your first project that you made?
I started a project that, well, I made a film in Newfoundland actually. I was acting in it, but it was a collaborative project which really taught me the process, and it still gets screened there. It was a really funny short film called Board Games, and then I started a documentary project several years later about my own family called A Boy Bigger Than Expected, and it was about my aunt and uncle and their 4 children who hosted a boy from Belarus every summer because of the radiation from Chernobyl. And that was how I learned how to make a documentary. I don't show it very often, and actually I still want to re-edit it, but I learned how to make film through making a film.
You love to make documentaries, don't you? What is it about documentaries?
I just find people really fascinating, people's stories. I actually love people, and I often see really heroic things or interesting things about people that make me curious to want to know why they are the way they are, or how they react with society.
What makes people tick?
Yeah, and how they relate to the world and why they're important in different ways to the world.
And film is a wonderful way to be able to capture that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really interesting when you're making documentaries, because I think you have an idea, you're curious, and then all of a sudden you learn a whole other set of stories and information, and I find that process really exciting.
Now, you made some television commercials, PSAs, animated films, as well as live action.
Yeah, I love animation. I would like to do a documentary eventually that incorporates both the animated. There's a new sort of evolution of documentaries in the last 5 to 10 years that I find really exciting. But I love documentaries, but I really love storytelling through animation as well. So I did a couple of short PSAs for some organizations for Omni Television that I chose to do in an animated style, and I helped another filmmaker produce an animated film about his life. And yeah, I would love to do more. I can see that I'll do more, use animation techniques in film in different hybrid situations in the future.
Now, you've your recent film is Between the Lines. What is it about?
Between the Lines is about the war on graffiti in Toronto that started last summer in 2011, and what happened, why graffiti kind of has become a really hot topic in Toronto and is evolving. There's a lot of eyes on graffiti since Mayor Ford decided to shine the light on it in that way.
Now, you had an interesting strategy to generate fans, to get interest in this film. Let's talk about that. What did you do? We started filming in June of last year, and we were really excited by the people that we were meeting. And one of the frustrations, I think, with making documentary films in Canada, at least, and maybe I think documentaries are tough around the world, is the process of getting your project made. And I'm like a little impatient. I was excited by the project, so I thought it would be great if we could put pieces of it out into the world in some form. So the Torontoist online magazine, a very popular online magazine, were asking us about our characters and connecting with them and doing stories about them. So my co-producer, James Skinner, suggested that we share some of our footage. And I thought, well, why don't we try a webisode series where we can actually profile some of these people that we're meeting. And so we did short webisodes. We did 3, we're working on 4th, that would broadcast through Torontoist and have now been seen around the world by thousands of people in like, I don't know, I think it's 150 countries. Which really got a lot of momentum for our project and helped us get to partner with Hot Docs for our crowdfunding campaign that we just finished. Well, we're going to, of course, show a clip, the trailer of your film, so that the audience can get a chance to see your work.
Since the election of Rob Ford last October, Toronto's graffiti bylaw has been more rigorously enforced, and the upshot has been erasing artists' tags from buildings, if not entire wall murals.
Keeps my girl.
Yeah, my friend George called me and said, "Hey, Joel, your mural's gone." And I was like, "What?" And I painted both sides in a suit and tie and got almost no attention the whole time. And then boom, they got rid of it. And then boom, and it went crazy.
A local debate over street art has now erupted into a full-scale war. The bylaw's been on the books since 2005 and calls for the eradication of all letters, symbols, figures, etchings, scratches, inscriptions, stains, or other markings.
Mayor Rob Ford of Toronto detests graffiti, and not just because he's depicted in a lot of it.
We're going to get the city spotless. Mark my words.
Martin Rice was so taken with the works, he's photographed more than 100 examples of Rob Ford graffiti, which have popped up ever since Ford took office.
I've seen it progress big time. I've seen a lot of good art come out of this because of you, Rob Ford.
The best cost estimate I've had so far is around $10,000.
Ford decided to declare war on a bunch of teenagers with paint and anger. Just taking back advertising space.
We're going big, we're going hard.
If the odds are stacked against you.
I think it is kind of thought-provoking.
When people bitch about me not asking permission, it happens every day to all of us. And we've never seen an art movement like this. Every single part of the world has graph. And every different part of the world has its own graph. That's never happened.
So Kelly, what was your biggest obstacle in that you've discovered, at least with this film, getting this film off the ground?
I think the biggest obstacle with this film and any film is sustainability and the choice between shooting or waiting, trying to sell it on paper. We chose to start shooting, and that was a big risk to take because we're working on no budget, in faith that it's actually we're going to be able to bring it to market and raise the funds and finish it. And it was a big challenge, but it looks like our hard work is paid off. We have still a long way to go. It's not finished, but we've raised some funds to keep us going, and we've gotten a lot of publicity, and we have a lot of fans, and that of course is going to help and realize that we already have a theater to screen the film at the Bloor Cinema thanks to Hot Docs when it's done. So it just I think our approach to just do it was a good strategy.
Now, Kelly, we're just going to take a quick break, and that means it's my good to know minute, and I know that you've got a great success tip, so feel free to share.
Okay, I would say it's just have faith in the journey. That's something that as an entrepreneur, a filmmaker, a single parent, questions arise all the time about why you're doing what you're doing, if it's the right thing, and I think you have to keep having faith that the inner calling is something that you have to listen to, and that there's a reason that you're hearing that voice.
Well, that's good to know. Thanks for that. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more with Kelli Kieley, filmmaker and entrepreneur. So stay where you are. Welcome back to the show. I'm Shannon Skinner, and I'm speaking with Kelli Kieley. She's a filmmaker and an entrepreneur. Her latest project is entitled Between the Lines. Now, you've got a really great relationship with Hot Docs Film Festival, and they've been a great partner. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, we were really, really lucky to be the second film selected for Hot Docs crowdfunding campaign, or platform, I should say, called Doc Ignite. Crowdfunding is a way to raise money through that for a project that hasn't been made or is in some phase of completion, through reaching out to the world and asking people to donate, or to, in our case, to buy incentives that will help you reach a goal that is a chunk of your budget to help you get to the next stage. And Hot Docs started their own platform. There are many platforms, and to help, that is really filmmaker focused. And we were the second film selected for this great opportunity.
Well, congratulations. What a great opportunity. Now, I mean, crowdfunding is it's become really popular, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It seems a lot of people are getting projects off the ground, probably more not than those that are, I would assume. But it's certainly an innovative way to do it.
It's kind of like democratizing the creative process in a way, and it's I think it's really revolutionary. It's very exciting, but like you said, not every project is going to be funded. We were very successful in so many ways. We didn't actually reach our full target, but it's been nothing but a positive experience. And yeah.
Can you talk about how much money you had to raise, or you raised? Are you able to share that?
Yeah, we had a goal of $15,000.
50?
15. It was modest, and we had 45 days to raise, or 40 days to raise $15,000. So as you can imagine, it's quite a dynamic and exciting, nerve-wracking time. We raised $11,575. And we have a fundraising concert happening in 3 weeks, actually. Kenny Starr is playing for a benefit concert. So although we didn't reach our goal, we are still in the process of raising more funds. We have an art auction that also helped us raise funds that is still outstanding. So I think we'll be beyond $15,000 at the end of this initiative.
Oh, that's great. Now you have, in addition to this project, well, where does it go from here?
Oh, okay. So basically that money helps us to shoot more over the summer and gets us to post-production. And then we'll of course be pulling it. Film is an expensive medium, so the $15,000 is not going to get us into a theater. We'll be looking at other fundraising strategies, traditional ways of funding a film to complete the funding and keep going with our production until we reach completion in early 2013.
Now, I mean, you love the idea of the immediacy of the internet. I think in an early conversation that we had, you said that it takes a documentary on average 2 to 10 years to be aired. So that's great that the internet allows you just to get your message out, get that medium out quickly.
Yes, I think well, it was so great for us because it's a story that was happening right now. So, you know, if it took us 10 years or 5 years to complete our financing, the story would be done. The issue may be over, but we got to share some pieces of it. Even I think our documentary and our graffiti talks have actually stimulated the conversation even more and added to the dialogue that's happening here in Toronto and that's going on around the world about graffiti. And yeah, so we actually have an audience that we're engaging with right now, and you know, they can come see our final film in about a year's time. So,
well, do you think that they might lose interest between now and then? Is there the danger when you are promoting a project so far in advance of it actually being on the shelf, so to speak? Do you think that there might be a danger of losing some, or maybe you just gain so many more that you don't have that concern?
Well, I think that what will happen is we're going to get very busy with actually making of the film, and we will stay in touch with our audience as much as is reasonable and keep people up to date. But certainly we will be focusing on completing the film, and we will be re-engaging and doing another outreach with all the exciting things that happen within the film. And I think that people will not be with us the whole way, but we will do another really big launch at the time and pull them back in. Yeah.
Now you have other areas in your business too that you've launched, something called Suit Man.
Yes, yeah. It's funny because it's tied into this project, but I started filming artist Joel Richardson when his mural came down in 2011, when Rob Ford accidentally, or the City of Toronto accidentally removed his mural. And it was an artist who was doing art around men in business suits or women in business suits. And Joel and I became good friends, and I started to help him with his Suit Man work. He's a fine artist, he has many different projects, but we decided to launch a project called Suit Man and a website called suitman.ca, and we've been doing campaigns here and in New York City. His work has gone as far as Russia since then, with his Suit Man performance projects and graffiti artwork.
Well, that's exciting.
And a new fashion line is going to be coming out in October 25th with Green Shag in Toronto, which there's a really great designer suit company. They do cufflinks, and Joel Richardson and Suit Man are going to collaborate with Green Shag, and we'll have some Suit Man fashions.
I love it.
Fun, yeah. He's such an interesting, amazing artist. His work is so relevant with the economic. It's the latest campaign was focused on progressive economics, and he had some men and women meditating in business suits in Bay Street, and soon we'll have some meditating suit men and cufflinks for people to wear.
So Kelly, for people out there, the audience members who are interested in using the strategy of crowdfunding to get a project off the ground, I know that you've got some great tips. So let's talk about that.
Okay. We were very lucky to partner with Hot Docs. It fit really well with what we were doing, but there are many different platforms that you can use. Some give you all the money if you're successful. Some you can get however, like the amount that you raise. So you really want to find the right platform, not only to suit your needs as to what you want to raise and accomplish, but with regard to the genre that you're actually producing, whether it's a documentary or a dramatic film or a book, really do your research to see what's out there for yourself. Secondly, preparation and planning. Know your story, know your message, figure out why people want to fund your project right now, why it's important for you to bring this out, and why people would want to help you move to the next stage.
So platform, know your platform, be prepared.
And then you find your fans. You want to find the people who really care about your project, or who can add value, or who maybe would benefit from helping you get your message out. We've had musicians partner with us and give us music that really helped our graffiti talks really explode because it was such great music. And then we get to promote the bands that we're helping. We had a lot of strategic partners. And then you want to find the people who actually want to see what you're find the fans that are going to actually want to buy your product or buy your incentives in order to help you get there. And then finally, basically, have faith in the process, in the journey, because no matter how much planning you do, it's always going to be very dynamic while you're going through the crowdfunding process. Be prepared for change, be prepared to be responsive to what's happening and change your plan, and to keep communicating no matter what. There's going to be down times where nobody's responding to you, and keep thinking and responding to those ups and downs in the process.
Well, that's great information, and from the expert, so I really appreciate it.
It was still learning. It was quite a learning experience, but yeah, it was very, very, very worthwhile.
Well, Kelli, unfortunately our time is up, but I've really enjoyed this time with you, learning about your background and your projects, and thank you for sharing your story, your message, and some of your secrets on how to get a film off the ground. So really appreciate it, and best of luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Well, for more information about Kelli Kieley, you can visit my website at extraordinarywomentv.com. There you can find information about past guests, more information about the show, about me, and you can reach me through the website as well. And also, I'm on Twitter. Well, if you are interested in transforming your life, I hope these stories inspire you. You've been watching Extraordinary Women TV. I'm Shannon Skinner. See you soon.